Welcome back. This time, as promised, here in the Messy Studio, we're going to tackle this big honking piece of walnut. It's 13 by 11 by 8 inches thick, or deep. It was a crotch. This walnut came down on a house during Katrina. My brother went and cut it off the house in Louisiana and asked me if I wanted some of it, so he brought me several logs back. It's got some cracking and some checking, but I think it's going to be okay. We'll see once we get into it. Should be pretty nonetheless. So stay with me and let's see what happens. But before we get started, I got another new sticker. This is from Bob Lee, Bob Lee's Woodshop. I'll leave a link up here, as always. I think I'm going to put Bob. I'm going to put Bob right over here. Y'all give Bob a look, give him some love. He's a good guy. Got another sticker. This one from Brenda G's Designs. Again, I'll put a link up here. Where do I want to put you, Brenda? I think I'm going to put you right here. She's got a couple of different programs going on her channel, so give Brenda some love, guys. Okay, that's a good center point there. That's close enough. Now, that could be all for naught. Once I get this thing mounted between centers, I'll balance it out so that this big flat face runs as true as possible. I don't know how much of this I'm going to lose because of the checking, but there's some checking up into here, but this thing it's not bad. It's got some good solid wood in it. I may need to do some fills, I don't know yet. Billy, you're wearing gloves. Isn't that a no-no? Yes. But once I get to turning, I will take them off. This thing was outside with bugs and spitters growing on it. And I just soon not get bit. I almost needs 2-3 hands. And of course it don't spin over the... And I didn't think it would. To save the most of this that I can. Alright, those are going to be my center points. So now I'll take it to the bandsaw and hack the corners off. But I've got it marked where I want it, so we're good. Okay, that's a little more manageable. It's now about 11.5. By 11 by 7.5. So it's probably going to end up being somewhere around 10 inches if the checks aren't too bad. I don't see any ring shake. This has been outside for quite a while and I need to let it acclimatize to the shop some, but before I do, I'm going to rough turn it a little bit and see if I can get it into a rough shape and balance it out some. So we'll see. About 440 looks like. Well, it's getting there. I may leave some of this natural edge in there just because, but I need to get it down a little bit more. There's going to be some wicked curl in here, so I want to try to save as much of it as I can. What kind of shape do you want to be? I don't want that. That doesn't bother me, that does. This thing is spalted and it's got to have curl in places. Okay, man, the grain's running all kinds of direction and this is going to be fun. So what shape should I make it? Should I keep it this shape? See what a difference a sharp, clean edge makes? I had to go deeper than I wanted to get rid of the flat, but I need to get rid of some of this tear out, so we'll keep going. I can live with that for now. Look at all the different browns and reds in this walnut, would you? Can y'all see that? The curl up here. Crazy. Not bad. Not bad. Not great, but considering how dry it is and everything else, that's not bad at all. So I'm going to let this acclimate overnight, see if it moves any, because even though the shop's not temperature and climate controlled, I don't think the humidity in here is quite as high as it is outside. Man, this thing's going to be pretty. I'll hit these cracks with some thin to stabilize them, I hope. And I'll finish refining this little by little. I need to work on this over here and bring this down. Got some nice curl up here on the top. I don't know if you can see that curl, but there's a lot of curl right there, and it translates over into the top. It's just really pretty. I'm going to glue this to a glue block. I'm done with what I want to do down here. So I'm going to take this off, get rid of this little nub, and then I'll start working on this. So far, that's what the shape looks like. Pick this up to about 400. I'm not going to drill all the way in yet. I'm going to go in about this far and then start cleaning this out, and then I'll go in and do some more later. Alright, that should be far enough for now. That'll at least let me start hollowing this out some. But before I do that, I want to finish shaping this outside edge. My oak block broke. Vibration, I guess. So this isn't hurt, or doesn't appear to be. Let me get this repaired and I'll come back. Got this glued back together. Now let's see. If it runs true. Nope. Got a weak joint somewhere in this piece of plywood. I'm gonna part this off, I'll put it on another. Ta-da! Okay, what I need to do now is cut this down and cut a dovetail on it. I think this piece right here is only a piece of cypress, so it may not hold. It might not be able to withstand the, I'm about 885. Yep, I told you I didn't think it was going to hold. But I had to try it because I'm lazy and I didn't want to cut it off and put another one on. Dag nabbit. Even centered, it's off centered. I hear what you're thinking. You're thinking, Billy, why don't you just cut a tenon on that walnut or a mortise? Because either way I would have to cut some of it out, and I don't want to waste any more of this walnut than I have to. I'll let that cure overnight and we'll come back and try this beast again. Okay, got this remounted, got a fresh edge on my cutter. My face shield is on. Let's go. I'm about 670. I took my Sorby Hollow Master, I heated the shank and drove the handle off so that I could put it in here. I've got the, because I need the gooseneck to get around this corner to scrape. So now, anyway, I needed the gooseneck to get around in here and scrape. So I've got the scraper on it. I'm going to smooth this out in here best I can. Wrap some sandpaper or something around the stick, get in there and sand it out as well as I can, and we'll see what happens. Oh yeah, baby. That is much better. I got all the ridges. No ridges left. I got a little bit of tear out in there, but not a whole lot, just a tiny bit. But that's kind of to be expected on something like this, where you can't really get in there and cut. I took this miniature baseball bat, cut grooves on the bandsaw at 90 degrees. I got some 100 grit in here. Let's see what we can do. As my mates across the pond would say, that worked a treat. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pour some sanding sealer in here. That worked pretty well. Now, if I wanted to go to the trouble of making the inside of that just glass smooth and shiny, which I do not, I would mix up a little bit of liquid diamonds, just clear, pour it in there and run it all around like I was making a sink and coating it. And then I would leave it sit here spinning slow so that it stayed level. What I am going to do is finish this outside. I need to put some black CA in these cracks, and I'll let that set up overnight, then I'll come back and we'll finish the outside and part this puppy off.
And one eternity later.
Okay, I've sanded through 240. It's not looking too bad. I may have some tweaking to do in a couple of places, but right now I'm going to hit it with some Mylan Cellulose sanding sealer. That should give you some idea how pretty this is going to be. Look at that curl and curl. Kind of a weird shape, but I think I like it. Give this a few minutes to dry, and then it's time for the axe. put some light on the subject so I can see what I'm doing. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness! Can you see that? Look at that curl. And it's all over on this side too. I mean, it's just gorgeous. And then you got this feather from the crotch. What, you mean you don't put your finish on like this? Well, there it is, done, parted off. Okay, I'll sand this off, chisel that off of there, I think. Sand this down good, put some finish on it, burn my brand in it, and I'll put some pictures up. So here it is from that big old chunk of walnut, and to show you that it's not huge because I'm sticking it out here, it's bigger than my head. It's still pretty heavy, even though it's only about a 1/2 inch thick, 3/8 at the top, wall thickness about a 1/2, bottom's about a 1/2. So this walnut is heavy. Burn my logo in the bottom. It's got some really pretty chatoyance. So thanks for watching, everybody. I really appreciate it. Y'all come back and check us out here in the Messy Studio. You never know what we're going to be up to. My next project is a segmented turning. It'll be a small vase, about 7 inches tall, 8 inches across. Not very big, but pretty. Again, like I said, thanks for watching. I appreciate your support. And speaking of support, if you would like to support the Messy Studio in any way, my email is down below, and I'll put it here on the screen. And you can go to my website, link here, and in the description below. You can use my affiliate account to Amazon. The link's in the description. Anything you buy going to Amazon through that link, they send me a little bit of. It doesn't increase your prices at all. You can go to my website and order t-shirts, coffee mugs, and even some of the things that I've turned. So I appreciate it. Thanks again. Y'all come back.